We often feel that we are being demanding or selfish if we tell people what we want. And we have this kind of false expectation that if someone loves us, they should know what we want, that we shouldn't have to say. And wouldn't it be nice if that was the case? Unfortunately, that is not the case. Our partners are not mind readers and they don't know what it is that we want. They don't know what it is that we're looking for unless we tell them.
Hello and welcome to Journey to Lasting Love, the podcast. I am your host, Tina Shayani, and the head coach at T-Shay Coaching. If you are looking to attract a loving partner to build a relationship with that gets better with time, if you are looking to deepen your current relationship, or you just want to live a happier life, you are in the right place. Every week, we will discuss a new topic that will bring you understanding, clarity, and the tools to become the best version of yourself, the happiest version of yourself.
Hello, and welcome to this week's live here in Journey to Lasting Love. So let's jump right into this week's topic: boundaries that make you closer. So, what does this exactly mean? And what is a boundary? We're going to define all of these things. Boundaries can be a dirty word, and there are so many things that we feel uncomfortable to talk about. We often feel that we are being demanding or selfish if we tell people what we want. And we have this kind of false expectation that if someone loves us, they should know what we want, that we shouldn't have to say. And wouldn't it be nice if that was the case? Unfortunately, that is not the case. Our partners are not mind readers and they don't know what it is that we want. They don't know what it is that we're looking for unless we tell them. And the truth is that sometimes we don't know what it is that we want either. So, how can we possibly have this expectation of our partner or someone that we've just met a few months ago, or even a few weeks ago, or a year ago? How can we possibly expect that person to know what it is that we want? So, how is it possible that we can expect someone who is relatively new into our lives to know what it is that we want, but we don't really know ourselves what we want? So, it's kind of like this crazy, silly expectation of they should know, but how are they supposed to know? And what's the harm in telling them? So, what happens when we express to our partners what it is that we want? One, we are showing respect for ourselves, that this is something that I am not okay with. This is something that is my preference. So that is showing them respect for yourself, that not everything is okay. Not everything goes, and you are not here just for the other person's pleasure. So that's one aspect of respect. It also shows respect for the other person and trust for the other person, that I trust and respect you enough to share with you what I'm feeling, to share with you what it is that's going on inside of me. And I trust you enough to understand what it is that I'm looking for in this relationship, what makes me feel good, and what is not okay with me. I tell you a funny story that involves my dog, Riley. May he rest in peace and all of those things. He was the greatest creature ever on earth. And when he was a puppy, he was a very crazy and rambunctious puppy. So somebody, I don't even remember where I got the idea, was to get an electric fence. So effectively, it's a fence that closes in my entire property, but without a physical fence. So it's a wire that runs underground, and Riley had a collar with a little device on the collar. So if he went too close to the border of where he wasn't supposed to go, it would beep, 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 warn him. And then if he kept going, it would give him a little zap, which wasn't terribly painful because my son Ryan, as I don't know how old he was at the time, as I want to say 7-year-old, tried it on himself and it wasn't that bad. So we got this electric fence for Riley, and so many people told me, "Oh my God, you're so cruel. You're so mean. How could you do that? He's just a little tiny dog and it's going to hurt him." So we installed the electric fence and we trained him on it. So he got zapped just a few times, but then he knew where, and there were little flags that marked the boundaries. So he was able to understand that I cannot go beyond this point. And if I tell you that this was the greatest thing that ever happened to this little dog, because then this rambunctious puppy, instead of being confined to the house that has all kinds of limitations and all kinds of things that he's not supposed to do, he could be outside and he could run around and harass the squirrels and the bunny rabbits and do all the things that he loved to do. But he wasn't going to end up on the street, because one day he did almost go under the school bus, but that's another whole Riley story. But the point is that he understood now that I can go in.
Hey, I just have to pause for a second because if you're here, I know you're serious about making a change, and I want to help you do exactly that. I offer one-to-one coaching designed to give you the clarity, strategy, and confidence to take action and see real results. No more second guessing, no more feeling stuck. It's time to move forward with a plan that actually works and works quickly. And if you're looking for daily insights, live sessions, and exclusive content to keep you motivated, make sure you connect with me on Instagram and YouTube. Join my Facebook group, Journey to Lasting Love. But here's the thing, spots for my coaching fill up really fast and they're very limited in number because I work closely with my clients and get real results fast. So if you're ready to take the next step, don't wait. Head over to my website, tshaycoaching.com, and book an exploratory session for today. Let's see if this is the right fit for you. All right, let's jump back in.
This section of the yard, but I can't go beyond it. So as much as it restricted him, more than a restriction, it gave him the freedom to run around outside. Now, I know it's kind of like a silly analogy telling you about my dog and the electric fence, but the same applies in human relationships. If my partner knows what my preferences are, what bothers me, and what is good for me, then he knows what to do. I'm no longer this great mystery. He's no longer running around and kind of getting bamboozled because all of a sudden I am unhappy. And all of a sudden I'm giving him the silent treatment or whatever else it is. Now I have explained to him that this is something that is not okay with me. This is something that is not my preference. And now he can behave and treat me within those set boundaries. It takes the guesswork out of everything, and that makes for a much healthier relationship. So often we feel that we are being demanding or selfish or whatever by telling people, but exactly the opposite of is true. By telling them, then they know where they stand. Then they know what to expect from the relationship. If I explain to my husband that, like, I don't know, that, like, I can't think of an example right now. Like, let's say I don't want to watch TV in the bedroom after 9 o'clock. So then when he puts on the TV at 10 o'clock and I'm upset, it's no big surprise. Like, he is going to have an understanding of what's going on and why. So now it takes the mystery out of it. And that's kind of a silly example. Like, so we can set these boundaries, and there are so many of them. So it's a matter of boundaries, and it's also a matter of communication, having the courage to say how we feel. And it really shouldn't take courage to explain to someone that we love what it is that we're looking for in the relationship. But all of us as human beings, we are chock full of insecurities and we put interpretations on things. And I know that so often I will put off saying something that I need to say because in my head, I make it so much more difficult than it is. And I think of all the things, but like, what if this? What if that? I don't want to upset him. So I will put off a perfectly regular conversation. But because of this work that I do and because of talking to you guys, I've kind of stopped doing that. And it is really an amazing thing because things that I was making a big deal out of are really not such a big deal. I just come out with it and it's like, okay, that's fine. Or sometimes he says no, that he doesn't like that. But then I am out of that mental roller coaster of like, should I, shouldn't I, should I do it now? Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. And it's just a saving of mental energy. And sometimes we feel so exhausted because our brains are consumed with this internal dialogue of complete and utter nonsense that we try to predict what is going to happen if I say this, or this. But if we just come out with it, if we just take action, we clear all of that and then we can move forward instead of getting stuck in this place of indecision and setting those boundaries of what we want and what is not acceptable to us changes everything. It changes everything. Because if we are not clear about what it is that we like and don't like, how is the other person supposed to know? And if we are not communicating this, how can we hold the other person or even ourselves accountable? At the end, it comes down to accountability. That if you say you're going to do something, then do it. So setting those healthy boundaries, and then it brings us back to that not settling for crumbs. Because if you are looking for a long-term loving relationship, then you can't have that on again, off again relationship. That becomes a boundary. That if you're going to be with me, you can't just be with me a little bit. Does that make sense? So, what happens also, if we are not clear with our boundaries, then that person who is our partner loses respect for us and we lose respect for ourselves and we get hurt. So I'm not saying that, like, let's take the example of the TV in the bedroom boundary. So if my husband turns the TV on at 10 o'clock, I'm not going to berate him or scream at him or leave him. But it has to be an unusual circumstance. So that's something that, you can be flexible on. That's not a hard boundary. But if there is something that you really don't want, I don't know why I can't think of an example of a hard boundary now that, like, I mean, and a lot of things you can be flexible on, but again, it's having those standards. So it's not that those boundaries can never be pushed a little bit. It's not that there's no room for compromise, but it's just that you are going to express yourself and say, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. I'm willing to go this far on it with you, but I'm not willing to go further than this point. And I hope that this makes sense to you guys. I hope that you understand how important it is to express yourself and that this is a sign. Expressing yourself and listening to your partner. It's not just a one-way street. It's not just about the boundaries that I set between me and my partner, but it is his right to also express and set some boundaries. Like, there are some things that are not okay with him. And if he doesn't tell me, I'm never going to know. And he can't be mad at me because he didn't tell me. So it's one thing that, one, we need to understand what is our own priority. What is it that we like? What is things that are deal breakers for us? And then we can put those in place and say, okay, I cannot go beyond this point. I am willing to compromise and I'm willing to be flexible, and go with you, but not beyond this point. And those are the things that in the dating world, in the dating cycle of our life, those are the things that become deal breakers or non-deal breakers. So if you have something that is a real boundary and your boundary gets crossed, you can either be upset with it and cry and scream about it, but let it keep happening. And that, what is that? That's called toxic. Or early on, when those things come up, you can express to your partner that this is what I'm looking for. I am not willing to go beyond this point. And that creates respect and it creates understanding between the two of you, which will bring you so much closer. And it will give you the freedom to live within those boundaries. The same way that Riley had the freedom to spend the beautiful sunny day like today outside and run around and do all the things, bark at everyone that walked by, harass the squirrels, as opposed to when he had no boundary, he couldn't go outside. He couldn't engage in the backyard because he was going to get run over by cars. So this very much the same principle. When we know how to behave within the context of our relationship, when we know what is acceptable to our partner and what is not, then we have the freedom to engage without worry, without like this kind of mystery of like, should I, shouldn't I? Is he going to like it? Is she going to get mad? Because now we kind of know the rules of our interaction. And to think that there should be no rules is utter nonsense. Everything functions better with guidelines. Imagine driving on a highway that had no lines. It's much easier to navigate within some boundaries, within some guidelines. And you know what? We live in a world that thinks that love is magical and it should just happen and everything should just fall into place. And wouldn't that be nice? But that is not the real world. The real world needs thought, it needs compassion, it needs understanding, and it needs respect. And by communicating what your boundaries are, by communicating what your deal breakers are, you are allowing your relationship to flourish and nurtured and grow within the context of the lines of the highway.
Thank you so much for being here. If this resonates with you, don't let the journey stop here. Let's keep the conversation going. Follow me on Instagram and YouTube. Join my Facebook group, Journey to Lasting Love, for daily insights, live discussions, and exclusive content designed to help you grow and thrive. But if you're truly ready to create real change in your life, nothing beats personalized support. My one-to-one coaching is designed to help you break through barriers, gain clarity, take action with confidence. Imagine where you could be in just a few weeks from now. Spots are extremely limited, so don't wait. Head over to my website, tshaycoaching.com, and schedule an exploratory session, and let's see if this is the right fit for you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an update. I can't wait to connect with you. See you soon.